Good afternoon, race fans. Welcome here to our 5th race of the season for the NCRA Pedrigree Xfinity Series. We are getting ready to go racing here today at the Emerson Fittipaldi Speedway, more commonly known as Rio Raceway. Going to be a wild one here today. This is a track that's pretty wide. It's not got a whole lot of banking, but we will see them double wide, 3 wide, and maybe the occasional 4 wide as the tires wear down, but I think this is going to be a racetrack that is going to possibly be one of those fuel mileage races as well, and boy did we have a fuel mileage race last week when we were at Memphis. We went green the entire way. I thought they were going to be able to make it the full scheduled 50 laps on fuel, and then we had drivers ducking onto pit road with 2 laps left to go, and Phil Parker was able to have enough fuel to make it to pick up his first victory of the season. And all 4 of our former winners coming into this race currently sit in the top 6 in the standings. So right now it would look like 50% of the drivers that can make it into the playoffs via wins, right now those spots currently look like they have been taken. So we've got 4 more spots left open for drivers to get in via a victory. Could happen here today with maybe a 5th different winner. And then we've got still those 2 spots open for drivers to get in via points. Right now those spots would be held by Kyle Keith, who is 2nd overall in the standings, and Anthony Lopez, who right now is 5th overall in points. Remember, he got 2nd place last week as he stayed out as well with Phil Parker and got himself a runner-up finish. So definitely consistency is the key. Those drivers right now, Keith and Lopez, been very consistent to start off this year. Front row for today's race is going to be Jacob Thibodeaux in the 52. Thibodeaux coming into this one 33rd in the point standings. Alongside of him, Sean Gallighan, who's been on a bit of a skid lately. Didn't have the best of runs at Road America. Had a pretty poor performance last week at Memphis. Dropped 7 spots in standings, 21st in points where he comes into this one. They got Diego Yepez and Ashland Boyd lined up there in row 2. Now Yepez hasn't found victory lane yet this season, but 2 top 5s in the first 4 races this season. He's 9th in the overall standings. And then of course Ashland Boyd had the dominating performance at Road America en route to a victory. Actually comes into this race as well as the current overall points leader, 29 points over Kyle Keith. Let's go down trackside, get those most famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines.
So as the command is given, we mentioned about the 4 former winners coming into this one inside the top 6 in points. Ashland Boyd currently in 1st, Ryan Madden currently in 3rd, Kyle Thomas in 4th, and Phil Parker currently in 6th. They've got to keep themselves in the top 20 in the standings for their victories to count towards playoff positions. And as of right now, looks like they will be able to do that. Still a ways to go there in this season, though. Still got 6 more races, including today's event, before the regular season comes to a close and we will begin the playoffs. So still anything can happen. 40 laps of racing here today at Rio Raceway. It was 50 laps at Memphis, and that track was much smaller than this, so put it this way, I was shocked that we had green flag pit stops in the closing stages of last week's race. I will be very surprised if we do not have these drivers have to make at least 1 pit stop before this race concludes. Saw as they went through the corners there, the rumble strip down there on the inside line. That won't be utilized very much, see it there as well. This track, the corners, it's like you're driving at a road course, although the configuration is like a speedway. It's like a trapezoid with rounded edges, really, the layout of how this track is built. And Jacob Thibodeaux is going to have a nice view out in front as he will see the green flag. And green flag in the air, let's roll at Rio. See them literally swing into turn 1. Thibodeaux taking the middle line, Gallighan way up top side. That's the fastest way around the racetrack. Like I said, they won't be really using that rumble strip down on the bottom very much in this race. The battle will now be for 2nd. Yepez to the inside of Sean Gallighan. Gallighan, I think, is going to get the run on the top side there. Now Yepez battles back. Gallighan back to the throttle. They will still remain dead even as 90 got a little loose there off corner exit. And that's going to cost him as Gallighan will swing around and keep the second position. Battle back here going on for the 5th spot as we got a good look at the pace car. Corey Williams to the inside of Justin Dearborn. Saw some skid marks up there in turn 1. No caution though, so I don't know if there was an incident that happened or not, as Corey did get by Dearborn for the 5th spot. And yes, we did have an incident. Emmanuel Hartnett currently sits on pit road in the 18. A lot of right side damage as he went up and got the wall. And looks like Jimmy Dawson in the 14 also was involved. Dylan Poteet currently sits on pit road. So we had a 3-car incident here. Must have been close to the rear of the field though, because it did not bring out a yellow. And I'm assuming that's what these skid marks are over here in turn 1 right there. Well, if we don't get a caution in this race, then you guys right now, or at least maybe already, have seen what happened courtesy of the NNSCRA split cam. If you don't see it right now, then we will be utilizing a caution period to be able to show you what happened. Wow, that 6-car of Ashland Boyd, the rear end came around on him and he almost spun it as he drives it down to the inside of D Yepez for 3rd place. Corey Williams right there along with K Shearer. There's 2 drivers that could use good runs. Corey Williams coming into this one 36th in points. K Shearer comes into this race currently situated in the 39th position in the standings. So both of them looking for decent outings here today. Ashland Boyd moving by the both of them, at least for the moment, and not too far behind is Justin Dearborn, who saw enough of Ashland Boyd's back bumper back at Road America when Boyd won the race and Dearborn finished 2nd. Sky Commons currently 18th in the standings, right now battling for 7th place with Dearborn. Dearborn's teammate Jonathan Zoerlein behind them under fire from Anthony McCrury. That would be a battle, I believe, for the 9th position. And just outside of the top 10 is the 23 of J McCloud. Talked about Kyle Keith coming into this race along with Anthony Lopez as the 2 drivers highest in the point standings without a win. The consistency continues for the 5-car as he currently runs in the 12th position. Patrick Zych making a move back there on N Ormond, his teammate. That would be for 13th. Andrew Miller right there as well in the 33. Right now in the 15th position. There's last week's winner, Phil Parker, right now in 16th. And the 2nd highest driver in the standings without a victory, Anthony Lopez, right now inside the top 20, currently scored in the 18th position. Talk about a driver that was really at an all-time high and then all of a sudden an all-time low in the final few stages, or the final few laps of the Memphis race, and that would be this guy right here, K Langeland. It was looking like that was his race to win, and he did not have enough fuel to make it the rest of the way, so he had a great long-run car at Memphis, moved his way from 7th up to the lead during that long green flag run. Let's see if he's got a long-run car here today, as he right now is mired in 22nd place. Andrew Miller, further up here trying to make a move on N Ormond. That'd be for 14th position. Miller coming into this one 26th in points, had a good run last week at Memphis. So he gained 9 spots in the standings, but still trying to continue to climb his way up after he had a pretty struggling start in the first 3 races of the season. We'll further up, see if any battles are taking place. Ooh, here's a good one. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Yepez, Gallighan, K Shearer, and Corey Williams. Gallighan and Yepez, they've been side by side quite a number of times. And most times, it's usually Yepez on the bottom, and Gallighan's been able to hold him off. Let's see if Yepez, now as the tires are wearing down, can clear Gallighan for 2nd place. Gallighan, back to the throttle, tries to pull even, couldn't do it. Saw him get tight there off the corner, had to lift to avoid going up and brushing the wall. So Diego Yepez will move to 2nd. Gallighan drops back to 3rd, and looks like Corey Williams has given up the battle between himself and K Shearer for 4th place, at least for the moment. Sky Commons got a good run there on Ashland Boyd going into turn 1. He'll move easily into 5th. K Shearer took a little peek there. And now he's going to step out on Sean Gallighan for third place. I should mention, actually, Sky Commons is in 6th, not 5th. That was my error. This all going on, this great battling going on behind the 52 of Jacob Thibodeaux. And Thibodeaux trying to get himself up there into the top 20 in the point standings. A victory could certainly help him. Boy, cars there on that inside line. Almost looks like they're going to snap loose. Corey Williams wiggling there as he had K Shearer to his outside, and Kev's going to keep the position. Corey will slot back into 5th place. So now that Diego Yepez has gotten around Corey Williams, then he maybe start reeling in the 52 for the race lead. It's only been about 0.5 of a second that Thibodeaux's been able to grow his lead over whether it be Yepez or Gallighan, so it's not like he's driving away from these guys. See what the gap is this next time by, is Yepez actually ran faster lap time, about 5/100ths faster than Jacob Thibodeaux that last time by. Let's see when they hit the stripe what the lap times are and what the interval is. This time by what was half a second, now cut down by 1/10, 0.4 of a second. 45.655 for Thibodeaux, 45.567 for Diego Yepez. So he is closing. You got to think the draft on these straightaways is kind of playing a factor into that. And I saw a car up ahead of the leaders, not too far ahead, and that's Emmanuel Hartnett, who right now is multiple laps down. Currently, or actually he's only 1 lap down, the 38th position. We do have 2 drivers out of the race after the incident that took place over in turn 1, Dylan Poteet and Jimmy Dawson. So we've got 37 cars in the lead lap of 38 running, and you're looking at the only lap car right now, Hartnett, who is only about half a straightaway ahead of the race leader Jacob Thibodeaux. They will be catching him very shortly. And if they catch him in the corner, everybody seems to migrate up to that lane just off the outside wall. And so you got to wonder if that's going to hold up Jacob Thibodeaux. Will he be forced to have to go down to the inside line to make the pass on the obviously slower machine of Emmanuel Hartnett? He's going to get right to the back bumper of that Juniper Toyota Camry. Whoa, he saw him getting loose there as he tried to turn down underneath Emmanuel Hartnett. He will succeed in making the pass, but Diego Yepez got the benefit of doing it on the straightaway. And now it's only 0.3 of a second separation between the top 2. Gallighan's going to get by. K Shearer looks like he's going to get by. Corey Williams not so lucky. We had to check up there as he almost came up into Emmanuel Hartnett's left rear quarter panel. That lost him momentum, and that brings Anthony McCrury close to his back bumper in what could be a battle for 5th. Meanwhile, K Shearer utilized the slower car, got to the inside of Gallighan. He's going to move to 3rd. So K Shearer all of a sudden making his way up into the top 3. Cars looked really good on the long run, so we might have to keep an eye on him. That time by, looked like the gap increased a bit. Yeah, about 5/100ths Thibodeaux gained on Yepez. And look at K Shearer. Oh, little contact right there might have been between Shearer and Yepez as they continue to battle for 2nd place. And they were 3 wide back here for a brief moment, it looked like. Looked like maybe some contact between Corey Williams and Anthony McCrury in that battle for 5th. Shearer has cleared for 2nd place. Now sets his sights for the race lead. Corey Williams going to hang on to 5th place, at least for the moment. Anthony McCrury had to give way. Got back a little further. You got a good battle back here, just inside the top 10. Ashland Boyd, Jonathan Zoerlein, James McCloud. That's 9th, 10th, and 11th, I believe. No, I'm sorry, 8th, 9th, and 10th. And they are 3 wide further back here. That's David Garcia trying to get by teammate Nathan Ormond as they're all making their way still around the slower lap machine of Emmanuel Hartnett. Phil Parker, last week's winner, trapped on that outside line behind the slower 18 car. They're going to go 3 wide. He and Chase Marks. Quentin Moore right there as well, trying to get by, as looks like they'll settle it out to a single file formation in passing Hartnett's wounded Toyota Camry. McCrury. Now going to make a pass on Sean Gallighan. Galligan's been losing spots here during this run. Started second. Corey Williams just got around him for fourth. Anthony McCurry now looking for fifth. Sean Gallighan looks like he's very much dealing with a tight situation, especially coming off the corners, having to lift. That loses him momentum, and that allows drivers to get runs on him and try and take positions away. Talk about taking positions. We've got a battle for the lead. K Shearer has caught Jacob Thibodeaux. He's to the inside. And K Shearer has worked his way up to the front of the field now. Looks like he will, well, not quite clear. Now he's got him. Woo, that was close. I didn't think he was quite clear even then. I thought maybe Thibodeaux was still to his right rear, and Kev turned right up in front of him. A lot of confidence in what his race car's boundaries are, apparently, as he very well could have found himself hooked into the outside wall if he'd miscalculated. Looks like Thibodeaux's car, all of a sudden, the handling's going away on that machine, as he's now getting reeled in for second place by D Yepez. K Shearer out in front, going to try and open up as much distance as he can. As now Yepez takes a peek down to the inside for second place on Jacob Thibodeaux. Mentioned about K Shearer coming into this one, 39th in points. Obviously, consistency could get him back into the top 20 in the standings, but this late in the season, I mean, we're at the midway point of the regular season. Would consistent runs be enough to get him up into the top two of the drivers without a win in the point stands? The likelihood, probably not. So I think this team realizes it's a must-win situation, and then concentrate on getting yourself up into the top 20 in points. I think there's a lot of drivers down at the bottom of the point stands that are realizing that fact now. 10 races seems like a long time, but in all honesty, it really is not. And the fact that we have ticked off 4 of those 10 races already, the sense of urgency to get a victory for drivers way down there in the point standings definitely has to be continuing to increase every week that we finish off. Gallighan back now in the 6th position, and Sky Commons wants that spot. Not quite going to be able to make the pass here. Gets a run then into turn 1 though. He'll get to the left rear quarter panel. Like I said, I think these drivers are going to have to be on pit road at some point in this race. We haven't yet even reached halfway, though. But I think one of the first drivers we could very well see on pit road would be the 39 of Sean Gallighan, because I don't know if it's the fact that the tires are going away, so he's losing grip, and that's what's making him tight off the corners, or just the way that the car is set up. But I think that they're going to be taking a swing at some major adjustments on that 39 machine. Still soldiering on inside the top 10, though, as K Shearer has currently a 0.3 of a second gap back to Jacob Thibodeaux. We saw how much of a difference there was between the speed of the 40 and the 52 when they were battling for the race lead. But again, much like what happened when Thibodeaux was out in front, he has not really been able to pull away, has K Shearer. As now Corey Williams. It looked like he was struggling early on. Looks like that car has come to him as the run continues on. He's now going to go for third place on D Yepez. I mean, as you look at our running order up here inside of the top 10, you've only got one former winner, that being Ashlyn Boyd. Everybody else would be going to victory lane for the first time this season. We nearly had a wreck right there at the front of the field. Corey Williams slid up in front of D Yepez. There was contact between Yepez's left front and Corey Williams' right rear. I think the 90 of Yepez had to check up. That allowed Anthony McCurry to slip on by for the 4th position. And now he's going to go for 3rd place on Corey Williams. So if he completes this pass, then we'll have a Camry out in front, a Camaro in 2nd, and a Mustang in 3rd. Corey Williams not going to give up that spot easily. He almost brushed the wall off that corner too. And looks like now he's going to have to give way. Not quite. McCrury gets the hammer down quicker, and he will clear for that 3rd spot. So we talk about the drivers that look like they have the better long-run cars. Well, K Shearer would probably be one of them. He's worked his way up into the top 5 and then to the race lead. Anthony McCrury looks like he is another, and another driver I think we should keep an eye on that I think's got some good long-run speed is P Zych. He was outside the top 10 when we last looked, was running around the 12th position, He's now up into the 7th position, which he just took away from Ashland Boyd. So that car's got some very good long run speed. Patrick Zych coming into this race 32nd in the overall point standings. And I think also the 33 of Andrew Miller has got some pretty good long run speed as well, as he just cracked the top 10. And I think we got pit stops taking place. Yes, we do. Right at the halfway point. So this is the only pit stop these drivers will have to make. They'll be good to go the rest of the way. And as far as our leaders, it was the entire top 3 that came to pit road. K Shearer, Anthony McCrury, Corey Williams is in. That turns the race lead over to the 33 of Andrew Miller, who's going to stay out an extra lap. It's like J Thibodeaux pitted before that whole group with Shearer, McCrury, and Corey Williams. It looked like he pitted a lap before. So Miller, now the race leader. David Garcia stayed out as well, as did Nathan Ormond, Chase Marks, Skylar Perry, Quentin Moore, Charles Jackson, Kyle Langeland, Zach Winkle, Kyle Thomas. Miller is in this lap along with David Garcia. Looked like somebody stayed out. Yeah, Quentin Moore did. Quentin Moore currently 37th in the points coming into this one, trying to get that bonus point for a lap led. We'll see if he can gain any track position as well with staying out this extra lap, but I don't think his lap time is going to be all that great out there on older rubber. I think he is the only other one that did stay out as well. Just double check on that. Yeah, I think he is. I just realized too, I think this just put Emmanuel Hartnett back on the lead lap when Quentin Moore pits. So if Emmanuel Hartnett can get himself a quick caution, he could be back on the lead lap the hard way after that incident with him, Dylan Poteet, and Jimmy Dawson up in turn 1. Quentin Moore onto pit lane, so we'll have to wait and see who that's going to turn the race lead over to. K Shearer was the leader when the pit stops began. We'll see if he cycles around to the race lead after this. Looks like he will. McCrury looks like he would line up 2nd. J Thibodeaux 3rd. Andrew Miller would be up to 4th, and this is a battle unofficially for the moment for the 5th position between Corey Williams and Diego Yepez. So Andrew Miller staying out that extra lap definitely helps him. That'll move him up into the top 5. This time by K Shearer up to 2nd, so he's only got one more car to pass. That'll be the 89 of Quentin Moore, who he just passed. Quentin Moore still on the pit lane, just now rolling off. So it will be Kev with the lead. McCrury will line up 2nd. Thibodeaux is going to be 3rd. 4th will be Andrew Miller. 5th, Corey Williams. 6th, Diego Yepez. Patrick Zych will be up to 7th. Looks like 8th place is where Quentin Moore slots in. 9th place, Nathan Ormond. And Chase Marks will be the last car in the top 10. So staying out that extra 2 laps did not seem to really hurt Quentin Moore. He'll be in the top 10, and he will be the one with the freshest rubber as well. So we'll see if he can start making some forward progress as those tires start to warm up. But I think the biggest gainer out of all of this was Andrew Miller. Miller was just outside of the top 10, actually just inside the top 10, 10th place when the pit stops began. He's now up to 4th after staying out the extra lap after everybody else, most of the leaders, came to pit road. So we'll have to wait and see as well with 1 lap fresher tires if he can get up there and catch the top trio. We did have a battle going on between McCrury and J Thibodeaux for 2nd place, but McCrury has left Thibodeaux in the dust and now trying to close in on K Shearer for the race lead. Last time by, his lap time was much faster. Kev ran almost a 46 flat, and McCrury ran a 45.6. 1.13 is now cut down to almost 7/10 of a second, as again McCrury about 4/10 faster than K Shearer. So look out for Anthony. Anthony's known as a road course ringer, and while this is obviously a speedway, the fundamentals of how you take the corners and everything are very much like a high-speed road course turn. I mean, we talk about Pocono Raceway, how a lot of drivers that are road course aces kind of consider the way you approach the corners as if you're driving at a road course. Well, this is one of those types of racetracks, and Anthony McCrury definitely has to be feeling very at home when he takes these corners. K Shearer maybe a little bit more apprehensive, and that's costing him time on the track. As you can see, McCrury closes it up yet again. This time, a little less than 0.3 of a second between himself and the race leader. And we're racing to the checkers now. These drivers all came to pit road around lap 20-21, so they are good to go the rest of the way on fuel. They'll be able to make it to the checkered flag. And I do not really, at this point in time, see a caution flag coming out. We had potential for a caution back on the first lap when Hartnett, Dawson, and Poteet all got up into the outside wall in turn 1. Caution was not thrown. I think that was the only chance we were going to have for one, because now the field is very much spread out. I don't think you're going to have an incident that's going to be bringing out a caution flag in these final 14 laps. Well, Anthony McCrury, I don't think he's going to waste any time. As soon as he gets a run, I think he's going to get to the inside of Kev, and yeah, Kev's not able to put up a fight. He moved low to try and block, but then decided, nope, there's no way I'm going to be able to stop this 12 car. So Anthony McCrury going to go to the point. Anthony comes into this one 17th in points, so a victory would more than likely put him up in the forefront for a playoff position. And I was wondering about this group back here. Andrew Miller, Corey Williams, Diego Yepez, Patrick Zych. Looked like slowly but surely they're starting to reel in the top 3. We'll watch the interval between them and the race leader as they were a little more than 3 seconds back last time by. And we'll see if that gap closes up or not, if they've got a shot here as the run continues to wane on to maybe get the long run speed to close in. That time by just about the same. They lost about 2 100ths. Saw a driver stepping out of line there, having a good run. How about the 2 of J Figadarello? This is a battle right now for the 11th position between himself and Sky Commons, and as soon as I say that, the contest is over. Figadarello going to move into that 2nd position. Figadarello had a great run last week as well at Memphis. It looked like he was en route for a 2nd place run behind then race leader Kyle Langeland, but he also had to pit in the closing stages. Finished the day out in the 6th position though. And so Figadarello, with that momentum, jumped up in the point standings to 34th, and looks like he's en route to maybe another good run here today. Chase Marks. We talked about him just briefly when we were running through the top 10 after pit stops. Great run there for the 3 car. He comes into this one 29th in the standings. Did not have a good run last week at Memphis. But looking very good right now as he is currently in that 10th position. So we've got some names up here we haven't talked about really today. Also Nathan Ormond in that 8th position. Good run for him. A lot of drivers benefited from that round of green flag pit stops and now find themselves up here inside the top 10. Andrew Miller ran a faster lap time than leader Anthony McCrury that last time around. He ran a 6:11, McCrury ran a 6:70. The only difference is there's about 3 seconds separation between the two. And Miller cut it down by a 10th that time. I think that could be the fresher tires that Miller has. Remember, Andrew Miller came to pit road 1 lap after most of the race leaders, so he has the freshest tires in 4th place. And he is slowly chipping away at Anthony McCrury's lead. Question is, does he have enough time? When Anthony hits the line next time by, it will be 9 laps to go here at Rio. Right now, I would say that 33 is the only source of competition McCrury's got. He's pulled away from K Shearer. J Thibodeaux's not been able to close in, really. He may be able to get up here to K Shearer and battle for 2nd place, but I think right now the fastest car on track, Andrew Miller, 3 seconds back, he may not have enough time to get up there. Let's see if the gap closes this time. Again, closes up, but only by about 6 100ths. I'm hearing an idling engine up ahead. That might be the 18 of Emmanuel Hartnett again. So if McCrury catches Hartnett in a bad spot, that could cost him, and that could help the 33 of Andrew Miller. We saw how K Shearer was able to cut his way up through the field after a pretty big time deficit before the round of green flag pit stops. So it's still not out of the realm of possibility for Miller to get up here, but he's going to need a little bit of help, I think. I don't think he can get up there on raw speed because he's got 2 cars to pass as well before he can concentrate on battling McCrury for the lead, potentially this win. See if the interval closes between the 12 and the 33 this time by 2.97, now 2.83. He cut it down by a 10th, but he's also only got a little more than 7 laps to work with. Well, it is not Emmanuel Hartnett that I'm hearing up ahead. Apparently I'm hearing engines of the drivers back there second and third place because David Garcia and James McCloud are right now at the tail end of the field. McCloud was up just outside the top 10 when the pit stops began. I don't know if there was a pit road incident with the 23 or not. David Garcia there as well. Last car in lead lap in 37th, so they just hit the line. McCrury is about to hit the line now, so I don't think he's going to catch that traffic. Then again, you never know. Another 10th cut down by Andrew Miller, but at this rate, he'd need 27 laps before he could get up there to Anthony McCrury. Battle's on for second. If these guys race, that's going to allow Andrew Miller to at least close in on the both of them and maybe move up to second place. But I don't know if he's going to be able to get up there and take the lead from Anthony McCrury. Jacob Thibodeaux started on the pole. Looks like he'll finish at least in the top 5. We'll see if he can get a run here on K Shearer. It was Thibodeaux that K Shearer passed for the race lead before we got to the round of green flag pit stops. So you would think as the run goes on that K Shearer would actually be pulling away from Thibodeaux, but no, he's not. Battle is on for 4th. Well, it was. Corey Williams took a look. Couldn't get the momentum off the corner and down the straightaway, so tucks back in line in that 5th position, and that actually stalled out the advances that Andrew Miller was making on the race leader. Battle for 6th, N Ormond making a move on Diego Yepez. And he will not quite clear. Should have him here in this corner, I would think, and indeed he will. So move Ormond up P6. James Shelly back there just outside the top 10? Oh no, that's the 2-car of J Figadarello. I saw a red hood and I thought that was Shelly, and I thought I didn't really see him up there inside the top 15 at all. So that's what was getting me confused. Corey Williams again making a challenge for 4th place on Andrew Miller, and he will get to the inside this time. Let's see if he can make the pass here. Going into turn 3. Miller going to try and, with the fresher tires, hang on the top side. Was able to keep it in the throttle, didn't have to lift. Going to battle back around the outside. Corey wiggles a little bit on that inside line. It'll continue to be side by side down to the start-finish line. And Miller will power around the outside and still keep 4th place. Look at N Ormond. With Corey losing that momentum, Nathan thought about taking 5th place away. Couldn't quite get to the left rear quarter panel going into 1. This is the best battle going on right now. It's going on about 3 seconds behind race leader Anthony McCrury. 3-way battle for the 4th spot. Corey continuing to try and get that inside line going. N Ormond waiting to see which lane opens up. Will he go high with Miller? Will he go low with Williams? Corey drives it in deep, tries to slide up in front of Miller, couldn't do it. Miller back to the throttle, but Corey's going to be able to slide up in front and clear, so he'll move up to 4th place, drop Miller back to 5th. Battle for 2nd continues to look like it's going to be a thing here in the final 3 laps of this race. Thibodeaux still all over the back bumper of K Shearer. Believe it or not, that battle we saw going on between Corey Williams and Andrew Miller, they actually gained some time on Anthony McCrury. That says to me, I think McCrury might be saving a little bit right now. Not really forcing the issue. Making sure he doesn't make any mistakes through these corners, because right now, with over a 1.5-second lead, he does not want to give this win away. Not when he's firmly in control of the field. Miller back there in 5th. I thought maybe we'd see Ormond get up there and try battling for 5th place, but now Ormond seems to be comfortably in the 6th position. 2 laps to go when McCrury just hit the line that last time by. K Shearer driving about half groove lower than Thibodeaux that corner, and Thibodeaux lost a lot of ground. I don't know if Kev just ran his line and Thibodeaux overshot the cushion, or if Thibodeaux tried doing too much. But it looks like he could very well slide back into the clutches of Corey Williams, maybe for 3rd place, as Corey and Miller have reeled in 2nd and 3rd place. But up at the front, Anthony McCrury is going to see the white flag. 1 lap to go. Last week, his Penske teammate Phil Parker won at Memphis on fuel strategy. Here today, pit road played a factor into Anthony McCrury being able to close in on K Shearer, take the race lead away, and looks like it will be back-to-back victories for the Mustangs out of Penske Racing. Anthony McCrury, we mentioned, coming into this one, 17th in the point standings. This will undoubtedly put him into a potential playoff position. As off turn 4 for the final time, Anthony McCrury is going to come to the start-finish line, see the checkered flag, and win here today at Rio Raceway. What a run for Anthony McCrury, 5th different winner of the season. Did he just clinch a playoff spot? We're going to have to wait and see. Sorry to cut this short, but thank you all for tuning in today's race here from Rio. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give a like, subscribe, become part of the crew today. We will show you now your full finish results as well as your point standings heading into next week at Riverside Dirt. That's going to be a wild one. Tune in tomorrow for the Duracell Cup Series race. You've been watching Productions of the NCRA, Offline Racing at its best.